Hi, I'm Ryan Kinney, Vice President of Platform Services at SpotX.
Jason White, Senior Vice President of Programmatic Revenue for CBS Interactive.
And I'm Lee Nadler with Sherpa Marketing.
We just finished our session with a mix of media owners and brands talking about how we can begin to introduce each other to one another better and solve for some tactical and kind of philosophical issues. We had a great room with a lot of really vocal folks. And we got through a lot of great discussion points, I think. Some of the big things that stood out to me, I think, again, on the tactical side are how folks are looking at upfronts and forecasting. And then we definitely dove into more of the philosophical and some areas around how we're valuing certain types of audiences and spots.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, I think one of the bigger takeaways for me is that we have a advertiser problem in the space. Local could be a potential opportunity there to help fill that gap. But there's still, measurement issues. Advertisers aren't fully embracing the platform because of that. So there's a handful of things that we need to fix. On the supplier side, we need to get a better confidence with our platform partners of the availability of those audiences if they do need to shift into a guaranteed fashion.
Yeah, I mean, coming most recently from the advertiser side, I would say, yes, you have an advertiser problem. Our topic was OTT, which I still think is a term that's outdated. It stands for over the top.
We didn't get a new definition.
Yeah, so tried to get a new definition, but I do think, if you look at the IAB in a year or two, we won't be talking about OTT. There was a discussion about connectivity and delivery of messages, but then there was still debate on, does this count on your iPad and mobile? Some say yes, some say no. And so the advertiser problem is actually confusion. And the confusion starts in the industry.
And that's something that I think the IAB can absolutely steward and shepherd. I mean, definitions and guidelines are the sweet spot. So we look forward to working on that.
Yeah, and I think one area that we'll look forward to kind of continuing to discuss is we talked a lot about how like the agencies or brands or the publishers themselves can better manage the relationship, but we didn't necessarily get really deep into some of the technological advancements that are sure to come, especially around live server-side ad insertion, a lot of those components that should ease a lot. So it's just not, the burden's not all on, the people themselves.
Yeah, that's a great point. And again, from the brand side, I think it does get easier when the IAB does the great job by pulling together the publishers and the providers of the measurement and the tool. Because at the end of the day, this is about reaching an audience and trying to get that audience closer to your brand. Like if you look at all the discussion on the DTC brands, but even the bigger brands, you want to connect with an audience. And so we also talked about whether, again, you call it OTT or something else, like the need for flexible creatives so that we can actually have messages that interact with what's happening with not only the context and the programming, but also the audience and how they move further closer to the brand.
Yeah, and on the consumer experience side, not at the sacrifice of the consumer experience. So, less VPAID, more under the VAS structure, so we don't affect and impact the customer experience. Because one thing, the advertisers want to track everything. However, if it comes at the consumer experience side and that the ad is actually not able to be delivered because it takes too long to load or it crashes the app or platform, those are things that we have to solve and be sensitive to too.
Yeah, I think relevancy and intrusiveness are the two words that really jump to mind for me. And I think from the technology perspective, from the platform side, that are key to be solved for in the next year or so. And even before then, we got to act on it fast because there's too much shift coming over to these digital video or OTT or whatever you want to call it to not address it quickly.
That's right. Yeah. Last thing that I thought was really interesting was just the discussion about live versus non-live, viewership, let's just say. And I think that's probably even more of a distinction as we get into this because everything is connected.